That was hilarious, right? So we
Those girls are just so into it.
Yeah, I know they were loving it. But we're with Kid Cudi in London once again.
Right back. Yeah.
Mr. Man on the Moon.
Less drunk.
Yes. Yeah, less drunk. Yeah, but that was good.
I'm working on it.
That was a good type of drunk, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, as I was saying off camera, this album, people are telling me sonically, it's out there. It's not what you expected from Kid Cudi. It's really not what you expected.
Yeah.
Now, was it a conscious effort on your part to make it out there, as it were, rather than stay in your comfort zone?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to surpass Day and Night 10 times over. You know, I wanted to make this album like it was my third album. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to go in and just no holds barred, just come with it, man. Because it's like people didn't know what to expect from me because of Day and Night just being such a big success. It's like, alright, man, this guy could just be a one-hit wonder and he could just have all these really whack songs after this. But I love that pressure, and I kind of took that and put it into my creativity, you know, and just really went in and made some new sound and shit.
I want to talk about a couple of songs on the album. I haven't heard these particular songs in full, but Heart of a Lion, Kid Cudi theme music. How did that song come about?
Well, the music, when I first heard the beat, my homeboy Jean-Baptiste played it for me, and I was just like, oh my god, this sounds so triumphant and powerful. This has to be my theme music. I just imagine this really ill action sequence taking place when I listen to it. Like, you know, this guy fighting a million robots in this room and trying to escape them. It's like really dope animation, like a Japanese animation type cartoon,
right.
You know. And this really epic thing happening, and it just sounded like the new Eye of the Tiger. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to create when I started writing the song. Like, I wanted to create the new Eye of the Tiger for the millennium. And calling it Heart of a Lion is just exactly, it's the epitome of what Kid Cudi's whole movement is, and what got me to where I'm at is that I kept the faith and I had a strong heart, you know what I mean? And I made it through, you know?
That's nice. I mean, are there particular lines from that track that would symbolize and encompass who you are?
Oh yeah, the hook is just the most powerful part. It's just at the end of the day, my mama told me don't let no one break me. At the end of the day, nobody can ever stop me. It's just like, those things are true. You know what I mean? It's like, nobody can be the commander of your destiny but you.
Yeah. You
know, only if you let somebody else take over. But you always have the power and have the control. And that's what people need to remember, man, on their day-to-day is, you know, it'll actually spark more minds and have people want to be more leaders and followers, you know. And this song, Heart of a Lion, is going to be, it's definitely going to be an athlete anthem, and it's my anthem, and it's going to be an anthem to a lot of kids, you know. Okay.
Talk to me about My World. I understand that's produced by Plain Pat.
Yeah, and Jeff Basker, yeah.
Yeah, and Jeff. I didn't know Plain Pat he was doing production.
A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah. What are you talking about on that song?
So My World is kind of like the point where the Martian is getting ready to take over the planet, to destroy and rebuild it for our own good, and it's kind of like getting back at the naysayers, the people that said that I couldn't do it, and the girls that never gave me a chance and fronted on me because of whatever type of person I was in high school and stuff like that. And you know, it's kind of pointing fingers at the people that judge a book by its cover. And like, I've had people that come up to me like, yo, because of your success, I will never judge another human being ever again in life. And some people have even apologized to me. Wow. You know, and I understand that, and I respect that, and I accepted people's apologies, because it's like, yeah, it must be kind of fucked up in your brain and bugged out to see somebody you just like, oh, this fucking guy, and the next thing you know, he's not just famous, like, you know, with a record deal, like, he's famous, like doing songs with Kanye West, Jay-Z, you know, and being in this good situation with this label, and having an acting career and being on covers of magazines. Like, I'm legitimately, you know, doing something positive and taking care of business. And a lot of people look at that and they do feel like shit, because, you know, I was judged a lot as a kid, You know, I was looked at as somebody who wouldn't be doing much with themselves. So accomplishing these goals is definitely awesome. You know what I mean?
Now, looking at a track list, scene list, because it's not a track list, it's a scene list. I noticed that you have 5 acts. Now, I did a bit of English at university. Shakespeare tragedies have 5 acts. Now, am I just looking into it just a wee bit much? Or was that a conscious decision to have 5 acts rather than 3 acts or 4 acts? Is it a tragedy, this album?
Well, I wanted to have 5 acts. I wanted to really divide it up properly, because there was so many different elements to the story that I had to break it down in pieces. And you know, it is not so much of a tragedy, but it's more like I'm telling this intense story. It's definitely like, I imagine like the Slick Rick, like, you guys gonna tell me a bedtime story, please? But I'm gonna tell you guys the story about the man and the myth, Scott Mescudi, the tale of Kid Cudi. You know what I mean? And that's how the narrative came about, the idea to do that and have Common do it and all that, and it piece it together, because it's not just a bunch of songs. You know, they all flow into one another. And it is a story, but not so literal. It's not like one thing after another, you know what I'm saying? Some albums are good like that, like 88 Keys, Death album. That album was really good. Like how he broke it down, and each song had its interlude, and the story kept flowing, and you understood the story. But like, I felt like with this, I didn't want to be so literal. I wanted to give people time in their brain to, you know, process and just even leave room for their own imagination.
Sure.
You know, and interpret the songs how they saw fit.
Sure.
I definitely had a set idea of what those titles meant.
Okay.
But like I just said, like, I wanted to leave room for everybody else's imagination.
Yeah.
And what you just created was a whole other alternative story to those titles. That it's amazing, because it still is my story. So you see, there's different ways that you can interpret it, because it's all metaphorical in a sense too.
Yeah.
You know, and the titles are autobiographical. You know, but like the beginning is, well, the end of the day is the night, and the dream beginning. You know, and going to sleep, and the rise of the night terrors is, you know, the part in the dream where it's getting dark, and it's showing the dark side of you know, Kid Cudi. And you know, taking a trip is me getting ready to indulge in drugs and take that and zone out to get away from reality. And then stuck is being trapped in that world and not being able to get out. You know what I mean? And then new beginning, finally realizing that, you know, I'm free and I could do my own thing without being so caught up in the drugs, and realizing that life is so much better if I'm comfortable in my own skin. You know what I mean? Because ultimately we turn to drugs to be comfortable with reality, because sometimes we're not comfortable with ourselves. Sure. Or we feel like we're too out there where we have to smoke and zone out and be good mentally. So that's that, man.
So what's next after this? Are you doing like a trilogy of albums, or
yeah,
are you working on the next one right now?
I'm working on the next one. I'm already just coming up with ideas and brainstorming, and my next thing, I think, is going to be a compilation first.
Okay.
Before I do the album with Chip the Ripper, and before I do the second solo album. Okay. I'm definitely going to do a compilation, because there's a lot of artists I want to work with, and I just have a lot of ideas.
Which ones?
I'm looking forward to working with Kenna and Chad Hugo for the Neptunes. Also Pharrell. Sure. Hopefully I get up with him, and he's very excited to work, and I'm excited to work with him. So we'll see what happens. Robin Thicke, I'm supposed to be doing something with him, and you know, I got other ideas of other people I'm going to reach out to. Of course, I'm going to do some more stuff with Rat-a-Tat, MGMT, sure. And hopefully I can get up with Green Day, The Killers, and The Thrills, and Band of Horses too. Ben, the lead singer, me and him already discussed trying to take a trip to where he stays at, North Carolina, and just vibing out, staying with him and his wife for like 2 weeks, and just relaxing and taking in the country, and vibing out in the studio and coming up with some great songs and see what we come up with. So, you know, I'm a real creative dude, man. I just like to make music. That's my deal.